Norbert Mburu, Culture Research Lead at Odipodev, is one of our guests for the final hour of the Situation Room today. The other one is Eric Wainaina. I don't know, maybe he's coming with the dancers at Ingia Akiimba. But no, but City has a couple of things to tell you. Number one, it's the importance of getting comprehensive health checks. City.
Every time you are included in a WhatsApp group where somebody needs help with health bills, it means somebody fell sick, and they felt really sick. That's why the bill was really high.
True.
Now, whatever it is made that person sick didn't happen on the day that you got that WhatsApp message.
That is true.
That thing was in their system all along. It grew, and then it decided to derail the person. We never really know how sick we are unless we take the time to find out. We don't need to feel sick. We don't need to be sick to know you're sick. You can actually ensure that whatever will cause that illness is known ahead of time. And that's what the Aga Khan University Hospital is saying. Come to any of our very many clinics. Go to the hospital itself. Look for 9,950 Kenya shillings. Come and get yourself tested. Comprehensive. So that you know exactly how you are ticking. You know that ache that you always feel where you see shida sana. I will just go and buy, this thing in the pharmacy and I'll be fine. In fact, I'm not feeling bad.
Because it's a cultural problem.
Isn't it just?
I'll
Yes.
go find out. Why would I go looking for bad news?
Yeah, but
So they're like, acha niombe nitulie.
Now, most of men never go for checkup. Men over 40 don't, and they should. So we're saying,
it's important.
go and get checked. Go and get yourself checked so that you can know. Because when you know, then you'll prevent whatever it is that could cause you, not just this heartache problem, it could even kill you. But go and get checked.
That's true.
Italete mambo mingi.
Sana. And let madhara. Yes.
Kwa mwili.
Yes.
Eric Wainaina has arrived. And like we said, he was coming with the entire pose, but the pose will not come in. Eric, good morning.
Good to see you, Eric.
Good to see you too, Eric.
What a wonderful name.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Who gave it to you?
I don't know. Only the best people get that name. Good to see you, Charles.
No, good to see you too, bro.
Yeah.
And this thing of Eric being a good name, why don't you guys call me Eric so that I can also have a good
You
name?
know what I'm saying? We'll adopt you. Yeah. Good to be here.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Karibu sana, Eric.
Yes.
Singer, songwriter, producer, director, what else? Actor or what?
Husband. Parent.
Very good.
Son.
Very good.
Brother. Lover of animals.
Very good.
Yeah. What else?
I don't know. Why are you late? There's no traffic.
Late? We've been here for 45 minutes, an hour.
Oh.
Yeah. We've been watching you from the backing ground.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
So-
there was traffic. You know this county of yours?
I know there's no
kinda
traffic
crazy.
Today is a bit better. City, why don't you give Norbert and Eric the day's proverb?
Yes, our proverbs for the last 3 weeks have been from landlocked countries of Africa.
Okay.
We were in Burundi last week, and this week we've been in the Central African Republic. I like this country. They're not waiting for you to say the Republic of Central Africa. They're telling you.
You go straight into
They're
it.
telling you we are the Central African Republic, and we're in Central Africa, not West Africa. So be knowing.
Just in case you're not sure.
Yeah, just in case you think, because you ask, where's Central African Republic? Right.
Take a guess.
Take a guess. When a wealthy leader runs out of words, money does the talking.
When a wealthy leader runs out of words, money does the talking.
Yes.
Start with you, Eric. What's your interpretation of this proverb?
That's unfortunate. I don't know. It's I think that has been the bane of our existence. You know that money talks and covers people's eyes and covers people's ears, and we're all trying to protect our bases and protect ourselves. I think that has been sort of how leadership has run in Africa for a while. And maybe it's not even just Africa. I mean, and when we look at the Trumps of the world, I think ideas stopped flowing a long time ago. You know. And fear and money is what is being poured in. I mean, I get into arguments with my older relatives every once in a while when they say things like, oh, these young protesters have been paid. They can't believe that young people are going to take to the streets by dint of just wanting to and having this shared emotion and frustration. And so, but that fear that is being, I think is being funded, is an interesting way that bad leaders keep on fanning this anxiety. And when you fan anxiety, you can then position yourself as the law and order candidate, or the candidate who will bring back sanity, and then you can do anything that you want.
Right. What's yours now? But
Couldn't say it better. I think for me, it's I always like to ask myself the question of what am I being distracted from? So when the rich man starts to use the money, what is he trying to make me forget? So I'm more concerned on why he ran out of words. That would be my interpretation.
Right.
Yeah.
This proverb imechambuliwa fiti.
Proper, sindio? Proper. Just like we're about to chambua here and look at protest songs since independence. Now, as we were talking about this earlier this morning, we said there are some songs that become like the anthems during protests. They're not necessarily protest songs, but they just become the beat that goes with the people for one reason or the other. We heard Gidigedi Majimaji in 2002, I Am Unbogable. Those guys were not producing a song to talk about politics, right? At the point when they were releasing the song. But it basically just found its way into the campaigns of 2002. Mambo ya Badilika, gospel song, becomes a song during an electoral campaign. This time, Anguka Nayo, absolutely nothing to do with agitation for good governance, for accountability, but becomes the Anguka Nayo becomes a whole new clarion call.
Yeah.
What are protest songs, Eric?
Well, like you've said, and my good friend Bob Kyoko also says it, calling some of these songs protest songs would be a misnomer. They can start as anything. They start as songs of love. They start as bar songs. They start as football chants. They start as songs in church. But people are able to capture a particular sort of emotion or a nuance in the song and turn it into their clarion call. Like you've said, Anguka Nayo is totally about something else, but it's the imagination of the audience, of the masses, that are able to just it fits perfectly well into a sentiment. Very often we talk about artists being socially commissioned, as in you listen to what is being said, what is being, you're in a matatu, you're hearing conversations, you're listening to what's being said on radio, etc. And you turn that into a song, into a play, into a work of art. But sometimes it even goes the other way, that or that it goes full circle, that something in your psyche then sort of manifests this idea that people then latch on to, that might have come initially from them. It comes through the refining that is the artist's mind, and then comes back into the audience, and they further refine it. Bella Ciao, famously, this song from the Netflix Money Heist. I think it's a love song. It suddenly becomes this song of revolution.
Yeah.
I was saying to Nonini, Wekamu, which we know is not a song of revolution, suddenly will be the song that will be calling people.
Wekamu.
Wekamu, who knows?
But then some of those songs are produced specifically for some political awareness.
Absolutely.
Nchi ya Kitu Kidogo by one Eric Wainaina, for example.
Never heard of him.
Right? If you listen to the words of that song, they're basically talking about governance and people and what they feel about what they expect of the value that they derive from their country. That's my interpretation of it. Right? And then you have songs like maybe Jua Kali with Utawala Nikonja Juliani, yes. Nikonja hata siwezi. These kind of songs are actually done for political consciousness.
Yes.
Do they gain as much traction when it comes now to agitation and to rallying people?
I think in the spirit of Proverbs, I can throw in a quote. There's a quote by a fellow called Roland Barthes. He says, "The meaning of a text is not determined by the author's intention, but rather by the reader's interpretation."
There you go.
All right. And as we studied this work, I think one thing that has learned, just to echo what Eric has said, is once the piece of art leaves the artist and it goes into the audience, it really is up to the audience on how they are going to use it. But there is, in the case of now what you said with it, so what we see is like a dichotomy of like explicit protest music or political music, politically conscious music, and then there's music for many other reasons. But again, the listener is going to co-opt music based on their situation, based on their scenario, based on their emotions of what they're going through. So in the canon of protest music that we have in this country, based on our research, what we have seen is you have songs that fall in both categories. All right, you have songs that have been very, very intentionally produced for political consciousness, for addressing specific issues in society, and then you have what we decided to christen it the unbogable syndrome.
Yeah,
it's all the other songs that get co-opted into the movement. And again, it's not just, the range of it is very broad. It's popular music, it's gospel music. Our relationship with gospel music is very interesting. It's our national anthem and how it's used in different seasons. You know, so it's almost like saying any song can be protest music.
Have you seen, from what you've studied at Odipodev, an instance where, because of some music, people start taking action? Because a song has been written and it's intended to raise this political consciousness. People actually react and respond to the words of those songs.
Yes. So the thing, the beauty of studying this work all the way from independence is, one thing I've appreciated in this work is our government has a very good appreciation of art, actually, and its importance and its impact. And so a lot of how you'll see different administrations dealing with music specifically is they want very clear control of it. And I think what we've seen over the eras coming from the beginning up to now has been a bit of a loosening of that rope. But of course, when you're looking at especially the first two eras we had in Jomo and in Moi's time, the control of the music was very explicit. You know, Moi specifically, I think, has been very fascinating to study because he had a very clear understanding of what music can do, both to either bring him trouble or for him now to create the positioning that he sees. So his investment in choirs. I don't think any president has invested in music like how Moi invested in music. And so in terms of, can music make people do something? Absolutely. It's the power of a song can actually come trigger people into an action, or it's a feeling that they already had, and the song becomes the soundtrack to that feeling almost. Yeah.
Beyond song, Eric, because you're also a thespian, Gogi was younger, and what he was doing at the time when he was being told, my friends, you look for another country. It was because of using literature and art to bring out some message. Have you seen, from your own work, from work of other people actually starting to take different action or changing their perspective of how things are going?
It happens all the time. First of all, just quickly back to what Norbert was saying, I think that the one thing that Goge and Moi agreed on was how important art was. So Goge said, I'm going to build on it, and Moi said, I'm going to destroy it. Right? This is actually, I'm using my wife's words here. She's like, that's the one thing they totally agreed on, the importance. I've seen art change behavior. For a while, I've not taken a lot of care about like what I wear, for instance. You know, I was just like, I'm just gonna wear jeans and a t-shirt and go on stage, right? Then it occurred to me, someone brought me an outfit for Blankets and Wine, and I put it on, and I felt like I was in Wakanda. There's the work of art is to break boundaries and to make people imagine a new way. We watched 24 when 24 first came out. And then I think it's in the first season of 24, we see a black president.
Yeah.
And as a black Kenyan guy, I was like, that's not time.
I'm in America.
That's never gonna happen. Huh? Then Obama. What has Raikuda done with Wakanda? He's put an idea in our heads of an Africa that can be different. I was thinking, Sahara Desert is not a desert, it's a farm. We can put solar panels in Sahara Desert and light up the world for millennia. So, what has Raikuda done? What the makers of 24? Kids were singing Inchi ya Kitu Kidogo when their school bus got stopped and a cop asked for a bribe.
Yeah.
You know, it emboldens and expands the realm of possibility. And if you can achieve that, and also surround yourself with excellence. Once again, if you're a long distance runner, if you're a musician like myself, and I'll be the best musician in the world, who do I have to beat? I've got to be better than, name them, maybe Beyonce, maybe Ed Sheeran, right? If I want to be the best computer programmer, I've got to be better than Bill Gates. But if I want to be the best long distance runner, and I come from Kerio Valley, I've got to beat my neighbor. So, part of the work that we're doing is also to surround ourselves with excellence, and become better by virtue of that. If Eric Latif and Norbert and Charles are inspiring me to be better every single day, and I'm in contact with them every single day, even the stuff that I'm putting out to my audiences, and my audiences are going to see a better product from me. And they won't only stop and sing to the cop, Nchi ya Kitu Kidogo. They might come out and do what Gen Z has been doing, and saying the fear is gone.
They may step out of the bus and actually sing to the cop
There you go.
out there and tell them, Nchi ya Kitu Kidogo, what you're holding.
There you
Right?
go.
Nchi ya watu wadogo.
Yeah, I saw the
Ukitaka
kids
chai,
in,
enda Ketepa.
Some kids in Western the other day, I think the electricity ported in their school. They striked and walked all the way to the local Kenya Power office and demanded they be given a transformer.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I was like, that's a spirit right there. Yeah.
It's the effect of it. And you have a sense that because of this art, because of all this that, brings in the consciousness to Jiangalie here and, all these songs, even Zakayo Shuka by Pastor Nganga.
Did he write it sort of in the context that it is right now, or was it?
No, he was singing,
It's just the other day.
he was singing his song about,
Yes.
kwa nini uko juu ya muti.
But before we go on the break,
Yeah.
just think of the genres of music that we have. You are thinking of, say, rap music. Rap music was protest music. If you look at what I hear is called gangster, just look at these genres.
Yeah.
What they represent is change that hadn't been there. And people saying, excuse me, this is how we are going to express ourselves. This is what we are going to do with our music. And I'm glad you brought in the issue of arts. Even dance forms do that. This is what was traditional, this is what was formal, but this is what we are going to do to express ourselves. And when you think of even songs that say, woi, woi,
Tunataka Kenyatta achiliwe.
now that, you see, we've had them for as long as you can actually remember. And if you go back into even communities, you will find that there are many songs that were a rallying call for even certain events. The ones that come to my mind are happy moments, are something which an uncle of mine could never get. There is a Rurashio and there is a Gurario. Amy is called a Gurashio. So there are songs that people sing. Werukamu. See, even I know that particular chant. It means it's something that people use, and there's a message that is clear in it, and it's understood.
Yeah.
And some of these songs, one could say they're purpose, but they probably aren't purpose. Maybe time makes them purposeful. It starts as just something that someone is saying, and people realize, but it makes sense under these circumstances.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the other day we played a song.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
From Tenzi Zarohoni. And people are commenting saying, I associate these songs with funerals.
Yes.
It's actually a hymn that's sung in church, even when there's no funeral service.
And
in
it's a
church.
beautiful song.
Yeah?
Yes.
What song was that?
What was it, City?
Is it when you say Muyangu?
Yeah, Bwana Usemu Yangu.
Okay.
Yeah. No, but I think also what you said is one of the things that was very fascinating for us. It's the songs people sing on the ground when people actually gather as a crowd versus what you listen privately.
Right.
You know, we have almost this like collective IP that we've created, and we've borrowed from all these different places. So it's how there's no record of, you know, I mean, the original song was sung Bado Mapambano, but it was a gospel song, all right? But the version that we use in protests, there's no recorded version of it. So, but there's a point at which your child is going to know that song.
Yeah.
And so anywhere you find Kenyans gathered and they're saying we're going to have protests, it's like, this is a song, you know? So there's like a album we've curated together where I know it's going to be Bado Mapambano, it's going to be Yote Yawezekana, we're going to throw in a few haki yetus here and there, and that's our collective sound of what protests.
Of a protest.
Yes.
Is there an equivalent sound of patriotism?
Of course.
That is patriotism.
Of praise, of not pushing back, but of praise, of acknowledgement, of to shangilia Kenya, you know, like.
But that's the thing, as in like, sorry, Norbert.
Yes,
Che Guevara told us very clearly, at the risk of sounding insane, he says, I'm badly quoting, the revolutionary is led by feelings of love.
Right.
You know? So even if it's kushangilia Kenya, Bado Mapambano is that, you know? It's that we want a better thing. We appreciate what we have. But protesting, pointing out what is wrong with a country does not mean that we're not shangiling that country.
Or that you don't love the
Or that
country.
we don't love
something.
Oh, yeah.
It's because you love the country.
It's because we love. Others would have just said, ni sawa basi iendelee tu.
All right. Fimbo ya nyayo. Eric Wainaina is our guest here alongside Norbert Moro, who's a culture research lead at Odipodev. We are talking about protest songs since independence. You have a number of them. You have a new one that you are releasing.
That's correct.
We said you're releasing that song today.
It's happened.
Sure. Very good. We are discussing protest songs in this country since independence. You said, City, that it's not just Kenya. I mean, this is a global issue. There are many.
Yes, it is. Because forget even the song itself. That's the genre. That's what I was saying. The very nature and if you look at the genesis of it, this is how people began expressing themselves and saying, look, we are musicians, yes, but so that you get us and you understand that this is how we're going to go about this business. Okay? But then the people actually wrote songs. That's why I mentioned Bob Marley. Get up stand up for your right. Now, if I know the song and I'm not really a reggae person, then I'm doing very well. But other people wrote songs. There's a guy called Bob. These are my Bobs. You are going to come out to Eric. There's a guy called Bob Dylan. Okay. It's like, but I also think that there's certain seasons in our lives when these songs become more potent. Somebody may have sung it as just a song, but given the time, then it acquires the meaning. And suddenly that song, and I think Norbert mentioned it. So the song now becomes something that, as we say, it wasn't meant to be, but if we take the view that that is how the recipients of the song have decided now to consume it and to utilize and to internalize it, then it acquires new and a much broader meaning.
Start associating it with the feeling that you have at that point.
Yes.
And how you're consuming the song at that point.
Yes.
And you see, even like songs, I'm fascinated the most by our national anthem, because same exact song, but the kind of number of scenarios it can be used at. You know, it's going to be used at the national celebration. We're going to sing it at our school assemblies. But then in 2024, you're going to have it being sung here as well as you're being clobbered by a cop. Same song. All right. And it's that. It's what how many things can I do with this piece of art? You know, and what does it do for me? And somebody even added a new layer to this for me the other day. It's how we also use music for comfort in seasons like this.
Yes.
All right. When things are getting wild, music also becomes a tool you use to calm yourself down. And we've seen that a lot. A lot of our funeral music has that connotation. And it's very interesting on funeral music, by the way. I learned this as well. This has been a big season of learning for me with the history. So 70s, 80s, I believe, it was indicated to me that actually a lot of the songs that would be categorized as protest music at the time could actually only be played at funerals, because it was the only public gathering that was allowed at the time. So artists would come, and that's where they'd actually play the music from. And you see now how that context is used to also, again, to bring in this feeling of what are we all feeling collectively, and what can this music channel for us right now.
You know, it's very interesting you should say that, because the one thing that you can't say people don't have a love for is music. And the diversity is expressed in, just as I said, just the diversity of what we refer to as music and what it is it means, and how it is it resonates with us.
Yeah.
But then again, also, a lot of it is influenced by the sort of music that you're brought up with.
Absolutely.
Many people are brought up with what we refer to as church music. That's where now they grow their teeth. That's where they get the hang of. And then they sort of like diversify. Because if you look at hymns, those who are accustomed to hymns, or even choruses, they all have a message. Aya twende zote kwa nyumba ya baba.
Hallelujah.
Yes, they all have a message.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, the reason why they become popular, people resonate with it quickly. And then there's a beat, the chant makes the beat interesting. And then, now, the love that you mentioned, then the love grows. You get to love that song.
Yeah.
So now, as your interest in music grows, you then listen to what you may call contemporary artists, and suddenly find that you'll have an affinity towards a certain type of music more than others. I remember there is a lady called Joanna Matrading. Okay? I came across her when I was a university student. The lyrics, my friend, and just the way in which she put into music, my friend, you suddenly realize, but this is, and it was completely different from anything else that you're hearing and listening to at a particular time.
Yeah.
Then you come across jazz. At the time, it was something called Bob James. Okay, you suddenly feel, my goodness, you mean that this sort of music, it suddenly lightens up things that you didn't even know, faculties you didn't know could appreciate music. Seriously. And you're thinking, then you play it with, you compare it with Fundi Konde, musicians whom we used to hear. And then as you get along, then Wainaina comes along. Before he comes along, he has a group of friends with whom they come along, and they're saying, they're thinking.
They come alive.
They come alive, yes. And you're thinking, my goodness, this space has really, really, really broadened. Yes.
You know, I really wonder what the future generation, what kind of music they're gonna make. First of all, I must acknowledge something here. The artist who you were referring to, Joan Armour Trading.
Yes.
I love the way you said her name. It's like people from the lake are going to claim people, even if they're not yours. You called her Joan Armour Rading.
Yes.
I was like, kila mtu ni mjaka. Everyone is. I must hand it to you. Yeah, you have got her. Yeah, have her. Thank you. Ni wenu. The future generations, it's interesting. Like, I grew up listening to, I'm a child of Sundowner. Right? So Lionel Richie, ABBA, the Jacksons,
Kool and the Gang.
the Kool and the Gang, and you can hear those references in my music. I really, really wish, we had the Kamarus in the house, we had the Diomisianis, but I don't know, it's like we didn't listen to it as much, and I feel I need to really immerse myself in that. Like that, I was listening to some Fundi Konde, because I'm writing a musical with a friend of mine that is set on the day that Tomboya gets killed at a fictitious club called the Moonlight, which is it's sort of built on the Starlight Club that we might remember from just immediately after independence. And Fundi Konde's material was really, really harmonically diverse and quite, he really knew what he was doing, when you listen to some of the funk music that was coming out in the 70s and 80s from Kenya, there's a collection called Kenya's Funky Hits from the 70s, and there was an actual choking of where we were going. Not only did Jomo Kenyatta and Moi destroy the freedom of thinking by doing what they were doing, they actually curtailed a development of a Kenyan sound.
There was actually a ban on importation of musical instruments in the late 80s. I read that the other day.
And that thing it has pervaded every sector of people's thinking. But I go to schools where there's a piano in the dining hall and it's locked. Like, why would you do that?
Beaten for trying to tie it.
Because the children will go, they'll bang, and they'll destroy.
They'll be making
Just
noise
tell
to
people,
everyone.
I think I don't know whether it's too much punishment that we've gone through, but we really there's a big self-hating thing that we have, and we impose it on our children, and they're like, these children are bad, they're going to do something wrong. Watavunja hii piano, but all you have to do is tell the kids, you know what, guys. The piano is open, right? Don't go beat it, but come and play.
What you said is profound, because even when it comes to the love of our own music, you see that hatred.
Yeah.
As we're speaking, as someone who grew up at the coast, there's Mzengala, you think of Tausi, Ndege Wangu, you think of gem mushrooms. There are so many Kenyans talented who produce beautiful
stuff.
music, but our preference.
Beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
Is it a question of preference, or do you think it's also a level of what are we exposed to?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of exposure.
Yeah.
And that is somebody's preference.
I like that.
Right?
It's somebody's preference, because another thing I was pointed out was if you think about, again, Moi's time, very interesting to study, again, because it was so long. Moi did not only mute, he replaced. So it was not, you're not just going to listen to nothing. I'm going to bring in something else. So a lot of the explosion of Congolese music happened during that period, late 70s, 80s. So he said, if you listen to Swahili or you listen to songs in your vernacular that you understand, they can actually charge you into doing something.
Yeah.
But let me bring music.
Let me bring in a different language that you actually don't know. You're just hearing the beats.
You just know the beats. It sounds nice. To keep you peaceful. And in that, you see how, again, I'm so fascinated by actually how authority understands the power of it.
But do you remember that during times of oppression is when you probably get the best music that a country has? If you look at countries where there's beautiful music, look at South Africa.
Yeah.
Look at the black. Do we call them black Americans now?
African Americans.
African Americans. Yes, that's what I was looking for. The Africans were in America. Look at the proliferation of music among those relatives of ours. And a lot of it was born out of suffering. Somehow, suffering touches your soul. And that's the factory for music. That's where it comes from.
Yeah.
Because every time I listen to Eric's song, that song...
Hopefully songs.
No, there's one particular song which does a thing for me.
Which one?
Hii Kenya inchi kidogo hii. You know what I mean?
Taken to the tribe as well.
Make the point, and then Eric will tell us about the song and go and,
Yes,
and,
yes.
and perform.
You.
No, he is finished.
Yeah, finish. I was just coughing. That cough marked
He was
the end of
basically
it.
saying every time he hears that song, it does something.
It
to
does
him.
something, yes.
I was saying that. So, for example, at one point, I had started to do my masters at KU, and one of the complaints in the music department was in the undergrad, they were having to lower the level of instruction because a lot of kids who were coming to KU for their undergrad had not come across the instruments that they were being taught on.
Well, yeah.
You know, so if you come from a non-urban school and you're coming to KU and they want to teach you piano, it's
the first time you're seeing that thing.
It's the first time you're seeing a piano. So a couple of different solutions, right? Either we call the Japanese government and Yamaha and we say, let a piano ka 10,000 tunalipia pole pole, right? And we flood the schools with them. That's one possible thing. But we can also be saying, you know what? There must be an Orutu in every school. There must be a Nyatiti in every school. Because even if you play Orutu, if you play Nyatiti, it changes, it informs your melodies. You'd write something completely different, right? And so while we're trying to figure out what we're doing, you know, whether we're going to import those things from Japan, let's make sure that
We have our own.
that we have our own, and that there really is no excuse that you are listening to music, you are drawing, you're doing all this stuff. But you know, it's the powers that be understand the power of the
Our
arts.
music.
Now, I know you want me to introduce the song, but I have to tell you one last story. We were up in Kakuma, the refugee camp. Kakuma is the home to refugees from about 14 different countries. Now, we've set up a thing called Kakuma Sound, and these 14 countries had been brought together by these coaches. So you've got the Nuer guys with their anklet shakers. You've got some musicians from disparate tribes in DRC, right? Guys from be it Burundi, whatever, and they start to play, right? I tell you, Eric, Norbert, Charles, when you hear a group of people playing together, an organized sound that is very organically percussive and has all this singing, you understand why the white man came and said,
Music
no,
is evil.
we can't have this thing here. It was a feeling of we can do anything.
Yeah.
We are unbogable. We cannot be touched.
It transports you.
It's transformative. It's transmutative. Is that a word?
Yes, it is a word.
Thank you. You see, you have to go to that side.
To Walimu. It's only those ones who know this big words.
It's
New song, Eric.
New song. So the new song is called Oke, which is a form of Oka, meaning come. My Kikuyu, I have to tell you, is horrible. I speak really bad Kikuyu, and when people from my tribe hear that, I don't know why it's like they've decided that I'm their high priest, and when I don't sing in Kikuyu, when I don't speak it, they're like, you've let us down. But
Yeah.
But you have.
Yeah.
I have. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm working on it. So, but I began to channel my grandmother in certain songs. And if I, sitting out with friends, have like a gin and tonic, she comes, she visits. Right? And so this song, I actually wrote it. A friend of mine challenged me to write a post-corona song. So when we're beginning to come back together. So it says, come with your mom, come with your mom, so show that you love her. Come with your father so he doesn't feel lonely. Come with your brother so he doesn't beat you. But come with your aunt because she's the one who knows how to dance.
Right.
So I've kind of been sitting on it, but now with the protest, I kind of feel this is a good moment to put the song out. And but right now I'm doing a medley. There's a song in Doluo. It's a song called One Man Army. When I lived in the wonderful estate of Otiende, there was a man who used to pull a mkokoteni with filled with water. But as we know, there's when you come from Langata into the bypass into Kibera, then there's the thundering of the cars above you. I used to see this guy every once in a while as we're driving through, and sometimes, even though he called himself One Man Army, he would get stuck on the hill and people would stop doing what they were doing to help him push his mkokoteni up the hill. And so there's a way that we definitely all need each other, you know. I'm also going to sing a song called Mama Luka, which once again is inspired by our life in Otiende. The post-independence estates, the Otiendes, the Onyonkas, those were all built because blacks were sort of restricted to other parts of the city, and it was
the eastern part
of the city.
Yes.
And this was a moment to have indoor plumbing. It was a chance to have a back garden, you know. And so when we moved into Otiende, we saw sort of how that dream had been decimated. And so where there were supposed to be cypress hedges for neighbors to look over and see each other, and because if you're living on an eighth of an acre, right? If you don't have a fence, then your house is infinite.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
You live in paradise. There was good schools, there was good hospitals, and then suddenly civil service, they were retrenched. And then their pensions were stolen. And so what was this paradise? Then people started building shacks in their back garden. And now you can't even go sit outside and have a cup of tea, because where there was grass and your flowers,
There's not like an extension.
there's now a lot of extensions. And so for me, Mama Luka is a song about broken dreams, but it's about wishing blessings on that generation. So I'm going to sing all of them in 5 minutes.
The stage up there. It's 10:01. We're ending the show this week with this wonderful performance by Eric Wainaina at the Spice FM stage. Yeah, your mic is up.
My mic is up?
Yep. Yeah. See? So you want me to play for you?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Will I be able to hear it?
I think you switched it off.
I switched what off?
Your
My
mic. Yeah.
How about now?
Not yet. What happened at night? It was okay.
That's Gideon.
It's Gideon who's that come to do the thing.
I can also sing from there.
Come and sing for me.
Come and sing from there.
Unfortunately.
There you go.
But you play it in the room so I can hear the track.
Yeah, the bad thing about playing it from here is that you won't hear the track.
One man army. Oh, this thing up him gikokoteni. Go either we got malo. I'm talking Kalo Giteko. Kayengo pi giteko. Kamor kapolo malo. Elam liet chwakore ping. Okoket seche. Niketi motio. Mondo yud pesa, mondo kun pesa, monyo mogodo jabera kinyi. Woyo, era nigiteko, era de mo, era mochuere, yakachie, era nigiteko, era de mo. Era mochwere yakache Koengi kama siafu viongozi wacheza kadi wanapiga bafu chafu kama mwenda wazimu nje ya marikiti tumesimama uchi tukisuka mavuzi shambani letu lakini mwenye kuwa mjasiri panga kwa shingo mpakani apitisha ng'ombe faranga na mbuzi aziuza sokoni atizemeza mamtoni nani mjinga basi nani mjinga basi nani mjinga ajitokeze tumuone. This is the new one. Actually, though. Turn it up a bit. Okena maito wo omonyene mwede. Okena na ikare mosiewiki okena morogo dokahoro gudi okena tatago newe oedasi 5, 4, 3, 2 we shall not be moved 5, 6, 7, 8 we shall not be shaken 5, 4, 3, 2 we shall not be moved 5, 6, 7, 8 we shall not be shaken 5, Doka horo gudi okena tatago newe o edasi
Whoa, what a way to get into the weekend. Well done.
I say thanks.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
So this new one, what's it called?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Ramurugo.
Dokahoro gudi.
Kahurogudi. Very good.
In other words,
Hiyo upigwe ngumi eh?
Usipigwe ngumi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bika, how do you say Bika with your brother?
Yes. Bika, come here.
Bika is come here, but come with your brother. Bika,
Bigowadu.
Bigowadu.
Yes, Owadu is your brother.
The brother.
Owadu, of course.
Yes, Owadu is my brother. Owadu
So
is
saying,
your brother.
okay, Namurugo. Okay. Like, come with your father, come with your son, come with your uncle, come with your... Because your auntie is the one
Who knows how to dance?
Very good. Eric Wainaina, thank you very much for joining us today. And Norbert Boro, Culture Research Lead at Odipodev. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Have a lovely weekend. Thank you for tuning in to Kenya's biggest conversation. Okay, we'll be back on Monday. Okay, na morugo, na dogo, na nyokwa, na tatago. All of them.
All of them.
Everybody.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.